I do want to talk about BRICS real quick. It's not really part of tomorrow's presentation, so I do want to mention it. If you guys don't know what BRICS is, it's a coalition of countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and others, there's like 10 now, who are having a summit that starts tomorrow. The yearly BRICS summit here, it looks like this. Holy shit, that is the happiest I've ever seen Xi Jinping. Bro, dude is cheesing. Anyway, there is a Western alliance of nations, the big Western economies, known as the G7, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the UK, and the US, the G7. And BRICS has sort of been formed as a counterweight, countries that are all growing at faster rates outside of maybe America. Outside of maybe America, all of the countries in the G7 are growing slower than most of the BRICS countries, which are sort of on the upswing. And so there's this like idea that they have been locked out of the global system, the financial system. They don't have the power that their economies deserve. And so they're sort of like making their own G7 with BRICS. That's the idea. The main problem that's sort of holding back BRICS from achieving some of their goals is that they don't particularly like each other. Specifically, one country is playing this all pretty masterfully. It's India. India of BRICS is kind of like the belle of the ball of the global economy right now. And India has been like cozying up with defense pacts with America and Western nations, while also building economic ties with all the BRICS nations, while also committing to neither one. India has played this G7 BRICS rivalry so well, but because they are playing both sides and don't ideologically stick to one or the other, they have really slowed down the progress of some of the stuff that BRICS is trying to do. Specifically, Putin and Xi Jinping, but especially Putin, is locked out. They're basically isolated. Russia has become isolated from a lot of the Western countries. And so they need BRICS to be successful and to build a different world order where they can thrive. And so Putin, who is hosting this year's BRICS, he couldn't go to the last event because he is wanted for war crimes. So Putin could not go to the last BRICS event because it was in a country where he could have been arrested. So he couldn't go to the last BRICS event, but he's hosting this one. This one is in Russia. And the idea is to show how not alone he is. And it's true. I mean, the BRICS countries don't really care about Western isolations on Russia, and they're happy to trade with them. And the BRICS countries are getting stronger, and they do have growing economies. However, one of the plans he has, which is to make like a gold-backed new reserve currency to replace the dollar, is being sort of blocked by India, who has no interest in pushing that forward. India is the only one of BRICS who has like voted against it and blocked it. And so I don't know exactly what they're going to announce this week. It's possible they have some currency type thing to announce, but my understanding is India has been the no vote that has been slowing it down. So I don't know if they, like, usually these games are more for show than anything. One main thing, and this is what I've heard from reading a bunch about this, is that Putin desperately wants a photo op of him and Modi laughing, smiling, and shaking hands. To show how tight him and India are. Like, a big goal of this BRICS event is to get good, positive PR of Modi and Putin hanging out. We'll see how that goes. I don't know. The thing I'll say is that, you know, the rumors of the dollar's demise thus far have been greatly exaggerated, and not because America has done anything particularly well. With regards to the dollar, here's a great. This is foreign exchange reserves by currency. The dollar is down from its 2000 highs, but not by much. I mean, it's essentially flat for 24 years. And the problem is there's nowhere else to go. There's just no other currency could support the needs of global trade. The euro certainly can't do it. They have just as many problems as America. The yen can't do it. They have worse problems. The Chinese RMB can't do it because it has capital control, so you can't even get it out of the country. There's nowhere else to go. So the only possibility is what, you know, people think BRICS might do, which is create like a new gold-backed trading currency that they use to trade with each other without using the dollar. And that may well happen. Again, I do want to say, this is an interesting chart. This is central banks globally, so like the central bank of Germany, of Japan, of Russia, of China, of all central banks since around 2012, have been buying a lot less US treasuries and a lot more gold. They've been basically building up their gold reserves. That's one of the reasons why, if you look at the gold price, it is so damn high. It's at a new all-time high. People that have been buying gold have been rewarded. There is some truth to this, but it remains to be seen whether this could actually work. I mean, it's untested. It's an untested method. Do younger people care about gold? I don't know if younger people care or don't care about gold, but younger people have no money, so it's not it's not really a problem. How much of that was China? No, it's all central banks, but so China is a big part of it for sure. Central banks in aggregate have, even individually, even the Japanese, which is like they buy the most of our treasuries, are buying less. So it's interesting. I'm just saying it's interesting, and I'll be watching this week closely. I'm not going to include it in Marketing Monday because it's going to be daily updates, but I'm going to be watching the BRICS summit and seeing what goes on and if anything, it means anything. But clearly, there's a struggle happening. There's clearly countries that are outside of the G7 system that are trying to make something happen. Gold prices, if this happens, I mean, if they legitimately announce something, gold prices will spike, absolutely. But even if they don't, they've been steadily rising. Again, just to be clear, gold has hit its all-time high this year. Gold is actually absurd this year. It's wait, this is crazy. Incredible spike. This is whenever we start buying at Costco. I think a part of it is that, even though I say the US dollar is the cleanest dirty shirt and there is no currency replacement, we are running insane deficits. We are printing like crazy and the demand for hard currency is there. Any news on the BRICS summit? Xi Jinping and Modi got a photo op. Putin got left waiting. Honestly, the story of BRICS summit so far has been that Xi Jinping is the big dog. Everybody who's not in like the Western G7 alliance fucks with Xi Jinping heavy. Top Xi, dude. This dude runs shit. Everybody wants to get a photo with him. He's getting big dog. Vladimir Putin, bro, he's like the water boy. He's getting left hanging, bro. Putin don't have it like that. He don't have the aura like that. Dude, what's so funny, not to get too in the weeds here, but so you guys know, Russia invades Ukraine, gets Western sanctions specifically on their oil, their energy. Now, Russia, recognizing that everyone in the world wants oil, is not deterred by these sanctions. So they go and sell oil to other people, specifically India and China. India takes the oil, marks it up, resells it to Europe. That's amazing. India always playing both sides. China buys the oil, helping out Russia. Of course, China, it helps both out. China gets cheaper oil, Russia gets to sell their oil. It works out. However, in recent months, China has realized just how over a barrel they have Putin. So even though there's a Putin-Xi Jinping friendship, China has been like really extracting the best possible deals. Like taking their time on they're not rushed to do anything. They're basically know that Russia has to take the deal and China can stall all they want and be like, if you don't want it, then don't take it. The winner of all this has been, I guess, China and India, to be honest. Would you consider covering geopolitical news that aren't necessarily economic in nature? I like the economic basis of it, but I will say, speaking of Russia, speaking of geopolitics, speaking of weird alliances, North Korean troops just arrived in Ukraine. Because of Putin and North Korea's alliance, they have finally gotten North Korean troops to land in Ukraine and fight for Russia against Ukrainians. I don't know if they've done anything yet. It's a TBD, but it is like an interesting addition to the war, I guess, is it's now bringing in actual troops on grounds from different nationalities. This is like very recent. South Korea demands immediate withdrawal of North Korean troops in Russia. Like this is, I don't believe this will happen, but I listened to a 2020 podcast from Neil Howe, who wrote The Fourth Turning, recently. I listened to it in the past week. And it was actually interesting because he got so many predictions right. I was listening to see if he would be wrong. I was like, you know what? This guy talks a lot of shit. I found an older podcast to see if he's been saying this forever. And he was like, in 2020, he's like, yeah, I think we're about to get a huge spike in inflation. We're about to have, he listed a bunch of things that were like just about to happen that did happen. So I was impressed. And one thing he said was like, the way bigger wars start is always with a bunch of, small things like this. A bunch of smaller little conflicts that don't seem like they're important. And then they start pulling in different people. He said that in that podcast. And it was just weird to me because then we got a bunch of smaller little conflicts. There's definitely some parallels historically to all of the conflict we're seeing around the world, where all of it is still contained and small relatively, but like it keeps pulling in different alliances and groups. You're lucky you're too old to get drafted. Your old bones cannot handle the tides of war. JPWR, you have 826 messages in my chat. You are probably also not able to handle the tides of war. Much of your chat history is spamming for me to watch House. House. Please watch House. And you're gonna be a corporal? Here's a quote from you. Atriarch, I hope my cyber cab has a cute AI avatar I can fall in love with on my daily commute, smiley face. Then you spammed that 4 times. And you're gonna be our fucking general on the front lines. You're our best and brightest to help take down North Korea on the beaches. The Humvees are cyber trucks with waifu AIs. We're sending in fleets of Cybertruck with waifu dash cams to invade North Korea. That'd be sick, dude. Can't wait to watch H-Rock from the front lines. Yeah, I'll be like Tom Cruise in Edge of Tomorrow, dude. I'll just be propaganda marketing Mondays for the war effort. I'm not gonna fight, but I'll definitely be, I'll definitely make some great films. And you know who will win the front lines though is Dr. Battle. He'll do actual battle reports. You have to keep soldiers' morale up. Yeah, exactly. Here's a win. Oops, maybe a fail. A whole platoon was wiped out out north of Pyongyang. What? Glizzy. That's the last thing I see before a bullet enters my skull. Glizzy, the battle cry of the 46th Battalion. This is gonna age so bad if World War III happens. No, it's gonna age so good, dude. This is gonna age so brilliantly. You're gonna be surprised. The vision of watching a YouTube video on the battlefront is really odd. This happens right now. You're acting like it's dystopian. Ukrainian soldiers are sitting there watching YouTube and playing World of Tanks on the front line right now. This is happening. We are in that era. Do you think any of them use World of Tanks stats IRL? I did a presentation on this. It was in a Marketing Monday covering the Ukraine war. And I talked about how they are literally playing World of Tanks regularly on the Ukrainian front lines. I think they said you can't really use it for tactics, but I don't remember what they said. Like it helps de-stress you from actual combat or something. I don't remember. It was insane. It was fucking absurd. I was playing Tiger Woods golf on the Xbox 360 when I was at war. It helped. You know what's funny is Tiger Woods was playing Call of Duty on the Xbox 360 while he was at war with Jack Nicklaus. So it's like 2 people staring at the same moon.